All right, welcome everybody to our Animal Communication Masterclass 2024, and welcome back to everybody that's tuning back in from last year and the years that are rolling over. We're excited to be beginning a new year of animal communication with you and having you back with us. So tonight, we're going to go through what it means to be part of this webinar series, what it means to go on the journey of animal communication, and to get you ready to either propel forward, showcase the best you, put your best foot forward, and also welcome in the new year and the new people. So our Animal Communication Masterclass is designed for beginners, intermediate, and advanced students. Hold on just a second. I am on speaker view, but thank you very much for that. And so we can invite everybody into this webinar series, no matter where you are on your journey, how long you've been on it, what it means to you to talk to animals, be that through body language, energetic healing, or indeed through animal communication and telepathy. We invite everybody in. The journey varies for all of you folks. It really depends on your mastery of it and the spiritual path that you have chosen, indeed your soul's contract. And so we have it designed that no matter where you are on your journey on this beginning day or throughout the webinar series, you will always be able to find your way through it and regroup and regain your traction within the group. I'm going to explain what that means to you, because there will be people that have studied animal communication through books or webinar series, podcasts, indeed YouTube, word of mouth, going for coffee, doing it as an amateur, even a professional. You're all here amongst us. And so no matter where you are on your journey, please be patient with me. There's going to be things that you've heard before that we're going to repeat, and things that will be brand new. And there's often the golden nuggets along the way. I never cease to continue on my journey. And so therefore there will be different themes every single year as to what we're looking at doing and how you are progressing with it all. So for our beginners, there will be pieces in here through meditation as well as guidance of steps and strategies that you can adopt to support you in moving forward. This also means for everybody that's been on that path, no matter where you are, if you've taken a sabbatical from it, if your life has gone a different direction, you're coming back to it. If indeed you feel like you've been blocked one way or another through stresses, through grief, through anything else that might have held you back, here's an opportunity to jump right back in. We might class somebody as a beginner that hasn't experienced animal communication and they're a virgin to this, even if they've undergone any body work or energetic healings with animals and otherwise. It could be that they're mediums, indeed psychics. This path in itself, while it gives you experience in other realms, also means that you'd be coming to it as a new person. And then we're looking to adjust to see, where are your gifts? How can we tap into them and bring it forward into the animal communication? It's like having different veins, right? And you're going up that vein of mediumship or psychic abilities, animal communication, energy healing, and they're all independent. And how do we bring this back together? How do we get them to lap over? Do they lap over? Or are your gifts unique to you and we're expanding in on it? Well, no matter where you find yourself, even if it's just a color that you see, I encourage you to be part of that. If it's a word, if it's a sensation, emotion, inner knowing, feeling, and it's just one thing, let's start there. Don't shut it off. Don't shut it out, and be brave to bring it forward. We look at every single piece, and you will learn from one another as you move forward as well, to see there are people within the group that have studied with me over a decade. They can help you with terminology, with insights, with things that have worked for them. And it might guide you working for you too. And I always ask people to be very, very humble and kind within our group and our webinar series. And so therefore they might exchange that information to say, what's helped me, what's supported me, what I have found is. And so therefore we can nudge each other, lean upon each other, and be a wonderful buddy system with that in mind. Of course, after 25 years of practicing animal communication, it can look easy. After 25 years, things are going to flow for me, having opened up that channel of communication, that white light, the connection to spirit, etc., and gone through trials and tribulations as well as the triumphs. It's been a long time to be able to accumulate that information, that wealth of knowledge, and pass it along to you. There's many people that believe they're doing animal communication when they're not. They might be reading the body language of the individual animal, or indeed getting an intuitive hit. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's animal communication. It is of sorts, of course, if we read the nuances of an ear or a relaxed dog lying down, the parrot wanting to engage, that's of course communication. And yet the telepathy that we touch upon here would mean we're going deeper, 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 and deeper. And that takes a number of years to truly master. So therefore, anything that I'm teaching you, of course, will be quite fluid from my side. At the beginning of a journey, you're learning literally all of it. From that self-awareness to the mind control, about the analytical piece with the body language, connecting locally, long distance, looking at different realms. Everything's new and everything is vast. Gradually, it becomes more normal for you. Gradually, what was once a surprise or a sporadic hit becomes a standard hit. You're guaranteed to be able to reach the animal. What perhaps took 30 minutes or an hour to find the right time of day, the right quantity of animals to connect with, and indeed the right location, you know that. You'll know that in time. You'll know you need to sit down somewhere quiet in nature or indoors, that you don't have to have the telephone up by the animal's ear, but in fact, they can be wherever they want to be. You'll know what it's like to connect with a puppy or a seasoned individual. You gain that knowledge, and it will be an underlying knowledge, not necessarily the one that jumps out to you, because at first, of course, you want to determine, how does this information appear for me? But there's so much to it. To know, when am I connecting? When am I disconnecting? When do I infuse my personal knowledge and experience? And when do I sit back and listen? You're learning all of that alongside. There's so much to it. So many unspoken words, so many unspoken messages, so much that we don't speak of that you're learning along the way. So 25 years, it will look simple for me to say, take that white light, focus in on it, and talk to this animal in a few breaths. Well, that comes with time. You learn with time that you can connect faster, to differentiate between the imagination or the ideas that you carry, indeed the memories. You learn what that feels like, what it's like to be plugged in and unplugged, what it's like to hold a conversation with somebody with dementia or ADD. And these are labels, and only labels so that you understand it, nothing more than that. And instead of having to overcome your own hurdles on that level to go, what would it be like if here's a horse not knowing if he's going to live tomorrow or not? What's it like to talk to an animal that truly has an expiration date with their body because it's failing them, or somebody that wants to euthanize, to know how to push your own emotions and feelings out of that situation and come in pretty neutral? To understand and to communicate with that stray animal, the rescue animal, the young, the old, the starving, the rather well-built, the one with behavior issues and modifications that are needed, as well as those transitioning. So many areas for so many species, the reptiles, the fish, the feathered friends, you name it, the furry ones. What's it like to talk to them all? Well, when you've got 25 years of experience, you know that, and you can put your finger on it and pinpoint it, and I can help you with it. That's a lot of animals that have come towards me, with me, training, gentling, communicating. And while we differentiate between the two, between the 10,000 horses and the 10,000 animals, the truth is, put them all together, because animal communication has taken part in both of these. I'm not excluding it when I'm working horses. So therefore, there's a lot of animals that have connected and communicated and been given that collaboration and even the commitment through the animal communication. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You've landed at a place where there's an experienced professional who can help you overcome those concerns and those fears and those worries, and hopefully be able to answer the questions that you have and give you guidance as to how to get through it. Remember, it's through the hardships that we gain that knowledge and the insight. If it all came terribly easy, we might not even know how we got there. And so therefore, there will be aspects of this course that you'll take in your stride and you'll come to understand, I do that already. Be patient, because there will be people that are still learning it. And then there's other aspects that you turn around and go, I didn't realize this. I didn't know this. So in the next several months, you'll be provided with exercises, information, inspiration, input, tons of energy, good juju, so that we elevate you to the best possible version that you can be of yourself. So whatever it is you're seeking, I hope to bring that forward and plan on bringing it forward in the next few months. You've committed to this program, and many of you committed years and years later, which I commend you for. And I watch fondly from afar how you blossom and how you flourish. And I know inside that it would change your lives, either on a daily basis when the animals are starting to come forward, like a conversation today. The person on the other end of the phone said, I know this is good, this conversation, because there's a hummingbird just flying in front of me. You'll automatically get these confirmations happening. Others may or may not notice or call it not only sporadic, but it's a spontaneous thing that these animals are doing. And perhaps they don't think anything further of it, that there's a message in it, that it's a way for God to guide us, the universe to give you these little signals in here. And so all of this will be life-changing, that the animals are crossing your path, that they're your messengers. They can guide you on your mission. Life-changing because we can call the animals in, and life-changing because we can connect with our own animals on a whole new level and depth, as well as start communicating with other people's animals. So you've committed to that. It's a glorious journey. I invite you to stay very enthusiastic about it. And Vin had a great quote in the last few years that we've put on a special card. And his quote is that you can only go as deep as your coach is willing to go. And the next piece is Anna's willing to go all the way. And that's exactly it. I'm willing to go deep. It's not superficial, really isn't. And those who know me, you know it's not superficial. We're not doing the type of animal communication where you would be looking at the tortoise and then saying, he's telling me he loves the lettuce. It's a given that they would like that. Generally speaking, we're looking at a far greater depth. Their likes, their dislikes, their fears, concerns, worries, the physical ailments or elements, as well as anything and everything you can think about. If they can answer the questions, they will. If they can share, they will share. And it's about your ability to connect and keep that connection and the flow of the conversation going. Perhaps you're better at conversations with animals than you are with humans, or perhaps the human piece will pave the way for you to be excellent at talking to animals, no matter what it is. Don't be shy that you think, actually, I don't talk to humans and I love it that way. I would prefer to be a recluse and in the mountains. Don't worry, you have the ability to talk to the animals because clearly you've got that connection. And if you are the butterfly, the social butterfly at the parties, well, you've got the advantage too. So the truth is, it's how we perceive this journey to realize we have certain characteristics that are totally shapeable and ready for us to access to support us on this journey. So we got 10 top challenges as you unlock your powers of animal communication. There might be a bonus one in there as well. And we're creating a really, really amazing experience. Now, often when people sign up for programs like this, they start strong and then they waver a little bit. And then by the end, we don't have so many people on calls. That's normal. In fact, I'm sure Vin could have the statistics here to tell you that over 90% of people that buy online programs never actually open them. And so herefore, we do encourage you to be part of it and continue to practice and experience, enjoy, celebrate, jubilate with everything that you're doing. So How do we learn? Well, depending on which class you're on with the horsemanship as well, I would probably tell you the same kind of thing, to say a lot of people love to listen, and they're looking to listen because they have to hear it word by word, come to process it, understand it fully, and they're learning through listening. Well, you're going to get tons of that because, as we scroll down in a moment, there's the library full of information for you to listen to. I always opted for the listening over the reading. And so that's the access that you will have. Many people learn through writing things down. And in fact, when I've done demonstrations over the years, you look into the audience and a huge amount would have the pen and paper just there, writing it down, because there's a lot of information that you don't want to have escape you. So you have the recording, you may choose to write it down. Now, if you're somebody that never references your book, again, your notebook, of course, don't write it down. But if you're somebody that learns through writing down, awesome. And if you know you're going to go back to review it, great. Write things down to read them later. Reflection is a big part of it, big part of learning. We all reflect in different ways and mannerisms around that too. And the reflection could be that you're going to type things in the commentary. That can be part of reflection. Debrief, reflecting, as well as utilizing our social media page so that you could reflect there. And there's a multitude of ways to do that, to say, I prefer a diary. I'm going to keep it personal, which can be incredible, especially if you've studied over the years, to go, look how far you've come. Look how the training has evolved. Look how you've evolved and I have evolved. And together, how far we've come since day one. You may love that, or have a diary per year, right? Year 1, year 2, year 3, and see how far you go with that note taking and how it supports you. And of course, there's nothing better than experiencing this. Nothing better than experiencing it. The experience is all of it. You can listen, read, watch as much as you want. It wouldn't make the person an expert. You've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again, that many people love to read the book and say, I am. I don't know. I am a bookkeeper. I am a mathematician. I am a healer. I am a teacher. Well, none of that can you do necessarily through reading a book. And so the same happens here. I am an animal communicator because I read a book, not so much. No, that book is there for the guidance, and it's awesome to read the guidance, but it doesn't make you that individual. So we do have a journey to go on, and this is an incredible journey because there's nothing like experiencing it to say, I'm getting this under my belt, not to get through it, not to get over and done with it, but in fact to experience it. To really experience it, to breathe it in, to notice, to grow, to love, to appreciate, all of it together, to say, this was an amazing session. I learned to converse, or I felt these emotions. I was totally involved with it. Whatever it might be that one picks up, keep the enthusiasm alive, because that's what it is. These are conversations. They might be references, sessions and consults and readings. They're conversations. And that we always want to remember. Even when we're learning, remember we had a conversation. So even if we're learning to counsel and coach another human being, we have an animal, we do have an animal in front of us with that human being, and we're learning to coach and we're conversing. Hopefully we're not doing it cold or with such a shield that we're not conversing, but we're letting them in, and there might be some degree of protection going on. And at the same time, we are conversing. It might be a bit easier if they're on Zoom or they're in front of us, but it's really no different. It's no different. So when you get that picture of an animal, it really would be no different than you coaching a person on Zoom or live. Remember that. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts I can give you today, is to say, remember there's a live being. It might not feel like it, and it can feel like imagination or so far-fetched, and we may not trust it all the time. And yet There's a degree of behavior that we need to put in there, which is the attitude of gratitude and realizing that we're conversing. It's not where we live, right? We're plugging in there. We unplug to be practical. We're all human, and we all go back to that practical piece living in this world today. So there's moments where we may forget, and there's moments that we're not tuned in on that level, and that's okay. It's the recognition of it, to say, let me slow down and breathe. Let me recognize what I'm experiencing here. Let me feel the other individual, be that in person or otherwise. So we provide a ton of support for you. And so the informational support, you may not know that we have it. You may not have read into any introduction. You may have just trusted the process to say, this is where I'm meant to be on this day. And you might not know any of what's available to you. So we have the structure in place through the webinars. This webinar series will be recorded. So if people aren't on live today, they can always access it. It's always there. And Vin will explain that again for individuals so that you know how to do it. We're going to be talking strategies as to how you can connect, how you can learn your language, expand your visions, your understanding, your beliefs, and your delivery. And there's going to be stories involved. So lots of structure, strategies, stories. What's available to you? Well, we have not only the access to Kajabi, so all of the recordings and a beautiful library for you. I always misquote this, but I know it's 200 hours. It might even be 250 because the clock seems to stand still and I forget how many hours we have. But through us, you have availability to the recordings and an expansive library. You also have some books. Now, while they're not geared towards animal communication exactly because it's called Beyond the Barn, there are incredible stories in Beyond the Barn to do with animal communication. It's beautiful for you to read, inspirational. The DVD, most likely now streaming for you, is also available to everybody who signed up, is my understanding. It's always worth going back over that to look at it, to go, was it phrased in a different way, delivered in a way that you could hear, or perhaps you're not under pressure, you're not concerned by it, whatever it might be, there could be something on that DVD that really speaks to you. You know about the podcasts, you know about the webinars, and more access will be given to you to different aspects. Don't forget YouTube. We had I think we've got over 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, and there's a section specifically for animal communication where you can see live sessions. This is going to help you. It's going to help you with seeing the connection, the delivery, sometimes the warmth and sometimes the hostility of those that are receiving the information. Go to it. You may be a lover or a hater of social media. There's a lot of people here, and I'm sure we shy away from it. We don't need to necessarily go on there daily for hours. Neither do you need to have a profile that you update all the time. And yet there's a gift in the social media where it comes to the groups. We've had great success since we started doing the masterclass by providing a social media Facebook group. The majority of you are in it. A number of you have yet to come into that group. This is the place we converse. We'll be telling you about new things, changes of times, situational changes. This is where all the practice and the homework happens. And this Facebook group is there for you on many levels. Because what we don't have little groups that are breaking off or little cliques that are joining. Everything we do to this master and within this masterclass is done on the Facebook group. And so therefore there's going to be inspirational quotes, inspiration from you to your classmates, questions from you to your classmates or to us here, technical support, you name it, buddy systems if you need them. So if you need accountability, it's all within that social media group. Don't forget to use it. Don't just think the exercises are in there either. It's so much more than that. Your stories, your highlights, your breakthroughs, your experiences, your questions, your concerns, everything within the group. Be really transparent, and that's going to help motivate you going forward. That's all of your resources. Yes, I could tell you about merchandise. I'm sure you've already educated yourself. We do have a few pendulums. We do have the Chakrabana poster, the release, the relax, the tranquil, and any other aspects that you might need on the essential oil front. So when you hear the reference to any Dynamite products or any Young Living products, we do have them. And we can speak to you and encourage you to add that to your repertoire for the animals and for the humans. It can be really supportive. They're going to be referenced throughout this webinar series, and you can come to us for that, either to buy direct or to become a distributor when and if you feel like it. Resources are plentiful with this expansion. Keep an eye out on the website for events. Now, I tell you that, and I can encourage you with that, because we have other clinicians that come to Whispering Feather Farm. A substantial amount of body workers come. And if you're into the body work and you want to go with the hands-on, you may see great value in attending some of those courses to expand your gifts, your know-how, your knowledge on horses, etc. We have that as a possibility too. And of course, we invite you here, and we would love to see you. So the information is one piece, right? The information that I've explained how you can access the information. Well, then we look at not just you listening to the lectures, listening to stories or insights, listening to podcasts and webinars, but in fact, there is the activation. And so we're activating this animal communication. Well, the activation is partially with you. And that would mean that you're doing animal communication exercises throughout this webinar series and as home fun. You're going to have plenty of opportunity to activate this animal communication. Without that, without the walking each step and climbing that little mountain, you're not going to get very far. Just like anything else you do, from practicing the violin or the guitar and the piano, you can look at the music, you can learn the music, but it's not until you practice. And so this activation piece is huge. You'll have a chance to activate through animal communication exercises, question and answers, because that's really big, is to ask those questions when you get that opportunity. Create a curious mind, an open mind. One that's asking, clarifying. It's a huge part of your learning to come on to understand how this information is coming towards you and with you and how to deliver it, discern it, will be a lot of the Q&A. So ultimately, exercises, Q&A, practicing, that will activate your abilities. Combine this with energy healing and voila. You've got a lot of gifts that you are accessing. Remember, it's about discovering your gifts always along the way. And your gifts don't end. It's not like you get one little parcel and that's your good luck gift for your whole life. It means that as you keep on moving forward, I guess it's much like a video game in that sense, you're collecting gifts along the way. If you stand still, you can't get the gifts. The gift is already there. So you've got to use these gifts as you go along, explore further, and gather the gifts along the way. And then be surprised, be open as to what can come. See, all kinds of noises here. Okay, the energy, this is a big part. People have often said to me, if they go home and when they go home, it's sometimes harder to access it. It will be. You're being put into an environment that's elevated, a house that's full of energy healing behind this, vibrational frequencies that are uplifting. It's going to happen here. You're with like-minded people. You're in a supportive environment. You have a cheerleader that's leading the way and you're being cheerleaded from behind. You're going to have great successes here. And then go out into the open. And some of you will be able to carry it like you're carrying a torch. And you're going to be just fine. And you're going to attract. Like attracts like. And others are going to find out that they're going to want to dim your light. That's never changed for me. I've always had cheerleaders And I've always had people that want to squash that light. In fact, I feel like now more than ever before. Not sure if it's true. If you'd asked me that like 20 years ago, I probably would have said, oh, they want to squash it then too. But it feels like we're in a time of a lot of negativity and a lot of drowning energy. And so here's an opportunity to stay above it. You're going to be surrounded by energy that's uplifting. The art is to continue forward with it. The art is to be able to access it. And the art is to not shut down and not let it squelch you, not let your voice be taken, but in fact, to figure out a way to become the voice for the animals. That's huge. It's actually easy sometimes to give up. It's easier to stay in the safe haven of the cocoon, not venture out into that open world and not put yourself in uncomfortable situations. It can be really demoralizing. And so therefore, you've got to find your way with this. Your way to say, yeah, I can speak up that it's true. I can speak up and give the animals a voice, be an example. I feel comfortable talking with certain groups about it. I don't want to hide. Find your way forward with it and surround yourself with individuals that have the energy that can be supportive. That too in itself can be a little bit challenging on times because you may want to stay in the old energies, in the comfortable energy. And Vin has a great story around that because I like to tell your story even if you don't, but I tell it often on the Reiki classes. And you can interject at any point in time because it would be the story where Vin says you find yourself in the closet and it feels so comfy and at home, warm and safe. And so you're in that closet. Carolina probably remembers the story really well, and you feel really comfy. And then what happens, Vinny?
Yeah, so you're very comfortable in your closet, and then someone just opens up the door just a peek and shines the light from the room into the closet. And you look down and you see all the mess that is your closet. And then they say, "Oh, sorry," and they close the door again, and you're back in the dark. The dark that just a moment ago you were very, very, very comfortable and happy about your closet. And now you've seen all the crap, all the dirt, all the stuff you don't like, and you know it's there. You can't deny it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. So ignorance is bliss, but once you've seen it, and I can tell you firsthand from experience myself, once you've seen it, you can't ignore it anymore. It's there. It has to be dealt with, or it will show up in different areas of your life. That's the story.
And so it's a really nice thing to remember to go, you know what? Often we find comfort in the places where we're welcomed or the places that are familiar to us, the friends that we know, etc. And yet sometimes we have to let go of those strings in order to move forward. And it's not comfy. It's not always comfy. For me, there might be other people that can cut the strings. Yes, I can move countries. I've done that, right? Yes, I can move across the United States. I can reinvent myself. And yet there will be people that I love to hang on to, no matter if they serve me or not, or if they're literally energetic parasites. I hang on anyway, either to save them, to support them, to serve them, or there's this thing that you have, this connection that's unexplainable. And yet that loyalty, which is a Taurian trait, sometimes goes against you. And there's a lot that you learn within that challenge, and it may be a pattern that's created. And so the same applies here. If you have patterns that you've created with procrastination, lacking the practice, you're surrounded by people that don't serve you, where your voice cannot be heard. Be mindful of that. Start looking at it. It's a great practice to look at with the animal communication to go, am I happy? And it's this simple. If you're happy, stay exactly where you are. If you're joyous, stay where you are. And that's a great signal and sign to go, am I happy? Am I joyous? Am I living my passion? If you are not, then you look at the pattern to go, what do I need to break there? If you are, keep on going. we have an exciting opportunity this year. Really exciting opportunity. So something that we've never done before, and this is an exciting opportunity that will be announced on the social media page, encouraging you to sign up there and log in there and look at it there. In the past, we have permitted the next tier, the live tier, to put their animals forward within the group. It's been a privilege of that tier group to say, these are the animals you get to speak with. Well, this year for a first, so this is the first in over 15 years, that all of you get to put a couple of animals forward within the group, which is huge. So not only do you get an opportunity for your animal to have a voice, not only do you get that, but you have an opportunity to speak to animals throughout the United States and partially the world, which is huge. So now you have different species, different ages, different breeds, different scenarios and situations, different locations, different human beings, you name it, are putting their animals forward. So you will feel blessed. You'll feel excited that you can put two forward. So what will happen is I'm going to list the dates on the social media site so that you can see the date that's been allocated to you. And how this works will be that everybody on their specific date, which happens to be a Monday, will put their animals forward. And it's not starting just yet. It will be in a few weeks' time. You would put a picture forward. It will be a head shot and a body shot. The reason we do both, because some people's photography is questionable. The amount of butt shots I get, still to this day, I have a butt shot and the horse's head's to the grass and you go, this is helpful. Looking at the horse's ass, literally. Or they go, oops, sorry, my puppy didn't stand still and it's a blur. And so photography is questionable with many people. So it's really nice to be able to say, can you send a headshot and a body shot? And then you always add in there, nobody else present, for the fact that they love to show themselves in the winner circle. And that's great, but it can change the conversation a little bit because the energy will be, I see what's happened here. Or I see he's a race horse, he's in the winner circle. These are his colors, blah, blah, blah. We don't want that information, because we don't want to lead the conversation. So therefore, it's a headshot and a body shot without anybody present. And if one's blurry, we have another one ready to go. And so therefore, on that Monday, if it is your week, you would put your animal up there, 2 animals, but you're going to do it per entry. So 1 animal per entry on the social media group. And you'd put that animal there, 2 pictures, and you would introduce yourself for a moment because people won't remember you. And that's terrible that they won't know your name, but they won't. They might have heard your voice. They might have not seen your picture, and they might only see you simply in the group. So you're going to say, hi, my name is, and you might put a little intro in there. I'm introducing you to ... He is this age. You can put the breed if you choose as well, because people will be curious to know what breed. So what breed, what age, how long have they been with you? You'd put that in the description. And then you add in, why have you chosen them? Why? You know, I chose him because. Now, to begin with, we're going to stretch this out later on, but to begin with, we may or may not put questions in there. And this is where the levels come in. And I can write this to remind you and to share it with you. Level 1, if you are new to animal communication, you would connect with this animal and let them share whatever they want. That's the beginner level. What do they want to share about themselves, personality-wise, and their characteristics, even the role that they have, the lifestyle with their person, the likes, the dislikes. What is it that they wish to share? That is your level 1 beginner. Now, everybody does every level. If you're advanced, you start at there because it's called giving them a voice and opening that floor and that stage for them to fill it. Everybody does this. We don't skip it just because we're more advanced. But level 1, you know that skill to go, I'm happy if I connect. If I get a word or 2, fantastic. Write them down. As we progress, and we're already there, we have that piece. Let them have the voice. And the second piece might be where you share, what do you want to share with me today? Because if we can start dialoguing, That's more of an intermediate level. And then we advance even further. And you may want to put questions in there. Everybody that puts questions in has to know the answer to the question. This is a learning environment. And so people are learning and they do need the support and the feedback. So it is something that you need to know the answer. So we are not putting lost animals into this group, not knowing where they are. We're not going to that level. So we're starting kind of generically, and then we can delve deeper and deeper and deeper. So therefore, we could have questions there, but you do need the answer. Please don't put questions like, where are you located if they're lost? Or if we're looking at physical aspects, could you tell me if my dog has cancer? We're not looking at that either. If we haven't addressed the issue, we're not going there. And so therefore, each week or each time we get together, we start addressing different aspects. So your questions want to be open questions, and you do want to know the answer so that you could have the confirmation on it for yourself, for the animal, etc. And then we always have a message as well. And you could look at that to say, I'm starting on my journey. I'm happy if I receive something, and thank them. I'm a little further on my journey. I'm happy if I receive something. I give them a voice and a message. I'm furthest on my journey and I'm going to receive information in the story, ask them to share something and go into the questions and the message. So these are the different levels that you're at. All right. So the next thing, another double surprise for you. And so what we've always done over the years is create a rather long animal communication class. Well, surprise, next drum roll, Vin. I'm hearing you, Vinny. We have the masterclass in December set up to start on Monday, the 2nd of December and run through to Sunday, the 8th of December. What I'm telling you is there's going to be a 1-week masterclass only this year, not the spring one, just the December one. So if finances, time, commitment was holding you back, you now have the opportunity, because we've got several days shaved off. It's a 7-day event. So if you've been concerned of flying here twice, getting accommodation twice, and looking at the commitment involved, we've just made it easy for you. So this is where it comes in. If you turn around and you say, I can look at the 2nd to the 8th of December, my diary is available, you have the opportunity to upgrade, and you're upgrading to the live session. So in effect, you've got this whole next 10 months all in to do this webinar series, and you can upgrade to live. That's huge, because we've just shaved off thousands and thousands for not flying twice, not getting accommodation twice, not having the loss of earnings twice, and shaving off the duration. So you could be tipping the scales now to say that could be a birthday present, Valentine's gift, early Christmas gift, to come here to Whispering Feather Farm. Now, add to that, we can figure out the finances. The people that have been through the live before, we will shave off 50% for you if you return. That's pretty much giving it away. So if you've been on the live event before, the masterclass, and you want to return to improve your skills live, you can return in December for half price for 7 days. Huge. So that's where Vinny comes in. He's going to be the person you would email, contact, and deal with the finances for the December clinic to go, yeah, I want to go all in. I want to end up with the live session at the end of it. I could do with that boost. We're looking at long hours, and we're looking at 7 straight days. And we've kept it all succinct so you can fly in and fly out, basically, so that you feel happy about it. So people that need to revisit, no matter what level you're at, returning to Whispering Feather Farm, coming for the very first time and taking that deep dive, that's what we're doing for you this time. We've never done that before. We've never not done the 2 weeks. So this is a first time, which would be wonderful. So call in with Vin, ask him the details. He'll take care of you. On that front with Vinny, not everybody knows that he's been doing coaching for over 30 years of coaching. He keeps it under that hat, under that hair of his. He keeps it there and he keeps it very close to his chest. But he's helped with personal coaching and business coaching and all kinds of coaching, spiritual coaching, healing coaching. So if you feel like you want not necessarily an animal communication coaching session, because you're going to get that through this whole experience, but otherwise you can set that up with Vin as well. He's a personal coach. With that, he does healing sessions, shaman healing sessions, incredible healer. And so you could also look at this to say, this is a one-stop location to go, we've got these opportunities for you that you could set up with him. He goes way beyond the techie that you might know him as. The guided meditations are still on the cards. If you've been wondering about what's happening there, well, life tends to give you lemons and you got to make lemonade out of it. Well, we've had our fair share of lemons for, I reckon, 14 years, not 7. And so we've still got the lemons coming, and that's put that meditation on hold. They will be coming. Those are free. So the group here, everybody here, Vin's going to be offering the free meditations outside of this webinar series. You would get involved with that. There's not a button to press yet, but we could get involved with that, and that would be once a month, and you can get the guided meditations to support you on the way. So everybody needs a Vin, I always say. That's what Vin's bringing to the table. What's the group bringing to the table? Well, I've really alluded to it, and I've touched upon it, this social media group. If you need an accountability buddy, I can't always relate to it because I've not really needed it in my life. So I'm not the one to talk to, but it could be somebody else here that goes, raise my hand. I'm going to talk about accountability buddies, that really loves it, to say, yeah, I love somebody to ring me once a week and say, have you carved out the time to practice? Or what happened with you today? Which animal entered your life? Which message did you receive? Where were the little wins that you had? We have accountability buddies here through the Facebook group. It would be great if you could keep it at the Facebook group, but I also understand if there's personal issues or matters that you want to discuss together. The group also means that you're doing the personalized session. So this is the group piece. What's the group bringing? They're bringing these personalized sessions to you. So that means feedback. Feedback is as important as the consult itself. So what's important about this is when you've got a group of like-minded people, they are fair and positive. And the feedback is a huge portion of it, right? Because you're learning to listen, you're learning to dialogue, you're learning to write it down and pass it along. And the feedback's key. I often do thumbs up, but that's not feedback. That's to say I've received it, or yeah, we're good to go. The feedback would mean that when you've put that animal up there, and I'd started to tell you that, you would say you have till Friday. So the end date will be Friday. It's going to be a start date on a Monday. The end date will be Friday. And you could make it Saturday if you want. That's personal choices. But there's time differences on this call. So therefore, we need an end date. That means everybody below the picture would type in comments what they received. The feedback won't come from your classmate until that Saturday or Sunday. So once everything's been received with the cutoff date, that's when the feedback comes. Now, the feedback could show up in one comment. You could read them all and make sure your one comment has it. You don't have to do underneath everybody. You could do one generalized one underneath and then add a little something to everybody's piece. Something that spoke to you to go, I really loved the way you were warm and fuzzy. I really loved your delivery. It was quite poetic. You could add something private on there. And at the bottom, it would be for the whole group to say, yes, let me share about this individual, what I've experienced, how he behaves, what his loves are, etc. You'd put that right at the bottom, not until the end time. Now, our end time varies per country and wherever you are in the world. So we are doing your end time. And if we say end of Friday, end of Friday. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows what Friday is, even if you're in a different time zone, and you can take care of it at the weekend. Okay? So that's the feedback piece. And we want to go through it so we get the truth. It's all about the truth. And it can teach you how you express yourself, what your perception is. So we need to give our truth, our perception back. So what is concrete? Yes, it was a red bucket. Done. Concrete. Ah, I see why you would think that. I would say it's slightly different. So we could give the feedback that way, keeping our minds really open as we do that in the positive atmosphere. So we don't really want no's. No, you didn't connect. No, it would be something different of, I wonder if you could reconnect because we're missing some of the vital points here. Or I could see why you'd say is confident in this scenario. We're looking to support and be honest. So therefore, the group, you're cheerleaders. If you see somebody struggling, cheerlead, help, inspire, push them forward, support them. All of that, no matter where you are on this journey, you might say, yes, in my experience, I had that too. It took me 4 years until I could actually connect within 3 breaths, whatever it might be. So people realize it's not always going to be instant. Put some inspiring messages on there. If you see something, because you read books and you listen to all kinds of podcasts, put that inspiring message up there. Doesn't have to all be animal communication. And then you're sharing, right? The more you share, the more you're helping somebody. Express yourself, grow with it. Lots of sharing. Keep that page really active. It'd be wonderful. That's the group. So you've heard from me what I'm putting in. You've heard from Vin, from the group as well. And so we're looking for a ton of self-awareness from you. Vin spoke of the commitment, and that's really a big part to say, who are you? Don't worry if you fall behind, you fall short. All part of life and what's going on in your life and how far you wish to come and how you're holding you back and your belief systems and all of these wonderful things. But you want to think about right now in this moment, you know, it would be this piece of, who am I entering into this? Who am I entering into this? And this alters over the years. And it alters in different circumstances as well. And it's that piece of, where am I wanting to go? It's not all about becoming professional. It could be finding ourselves. I want to find myself through the animals. I want to find the joy that I once had as a child. I want to break free from all the shackles. And I think animal communication can do it. I'd love a better relationship with my dog. I want to understand my cat. I want to give back to my horse and make promises to my horse. Whatever it might be, your journey varies. So who am I this time entering this class? Who am I? Where do I want to go with this? What am I doing with the animal communication? Whatever it might be, that's where you come in. So it's a time commitment, be an animal communication commitment. Might be a journey involved, could be a professional piece, whatever it might be. I want to be the best guardian I can be towards my animal, whatever. Where am I with it all? And what can I do? There's people here that love structures, that will create spreadsheets. So the spreadsheet might show, here are my 50 to 100 sessions I'm doing. And how am I going to break that up? What time of day do I need to look at? What time of day is good for me where it's nice and quiet? And how many can I realistically create? So that's when you begin to look at your structure to go, yeah, it's a commitment. We can do it in our own time, personal journey. You can let it go. You can pick it back up again. Summer holidays, doesn't matter. You might be on the road for a little bit, pick it back up again. And you begin to look at this to go, I might have entered believing it's just a 10-month journey and discovering it's been 10 years. Great. Don't fall in love with your goals that we're about to set. And at the same time, we want to be realistic to look at the structure, to go, how many years realistically do I believe I wish to take? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? And what is at my fingertips in order for me to be successful? Well, we have over 200 episodes, right? And I'm sure somebody could quote better for me and go, do you realize it's 250? But let's just land on 200 for fits and giggles at the moment. If you divide the 200 down, you're looking at an average of 4 episodes a week in the 1 year period. If you're doing it over 2 years, you're looking at 2 episodes a week. And that's a structured lesson that you'd be listening to and doing some of the activities behind it. You're also attending, I say 10 to 12. I know that sounds weird, but it may be 10 to 12 that you go, you know what, I'd like another episode because we did this as an intro episode and I might need more time with you. So I could build another bonus one in down the road. So we've got 10 to 12 episodes. So you're committing to an evening a month with the episodes, right? The webinar. You're committing to the recordings, 2 hours a week, if it's over 2 years. And you're committing to approximately 40 to 50 sessions in your private time. So now if you add that up, you're looking at, if you do it in 1 year, you're looking at a minimum of 10 hours in that month that you're committing to. Minimum of 10 hours. If you're looking at 2 years, you've got less than that. So in a way, it's not much. You could say 2 to 3 hours a week. I can do that. In another way, you might say that's totally impossible. I'm going to take longer. The journey's on you. But think about it, because if you don't think about it, you're not going to integrate in those 200 hours. You're not going to look at the YouTube channel. You're not going to practice as much as you could. So you do need to think about it as you move forward to say, what do I want from this? Do I want to simply listen to the webinars and that's that? You can do anything you want. But what do I want? You've got to set that out. Because you could practice animal communication every day of your life, calling in the wild ones, talking to your animals, setting some little goals, experimenting, experiencing when you're riding. There's so much to it. It could be every day. So you can go as deep as you wish to go, as deep as you're willing to go, the speed you choose, integrating as you want to, document the way you wish, including your life lessons and your life journey, and monitoring your progress. If you didn't follow all of that, you might be somebody that makes this list to go, oh yes, I think I heard that. I've got to practice X amount of hours per week. I can go as deep as I want. So that's reflection and holding a diary as well. The speed I want to go at, so 1, 2, 3, 4 years, integrate every day as I wish and see, document it if I choose, all of these things that I can do, as little or as much as you wish. How amazing is that? So this can be a diploma or it could be a degree. Just, you know, I don't write half this stuff down and then I come up with it to go, well, that's a good line. It could be a diploma or a degree. But that's true, right? You could enjoy the journey and listen to the webinars and play with it, or you can dive deep and make this a degree.